Hi, I'm Skip Carney with Carney & Company, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I'm glad to be with you today. I wish I could be there in person, but I'm glad to be able to be here to share some information with you that I think may help you as you communicate in this age of the millennials, your church in the millennial age. I am not a pastor. My father-in-law is a pastor. He was a Lutheran pastor for over 30 years. My brother's a pastor, and of course I have a pastor. Actually, I'm in the communications business, like you, but different. We're in the marketing communications business. And this world that we're in now, this communications age, the digital age, is very different. And whether you call it marketing or call it communication, the bottom line is you need to be talking to your folks, and they need to be talking to you in ways that work. And the ways they work today are different than the ways they used to work. I'm not going to talk to you about what you say on Sunday because that's your department. But I can talk to you about what you say Monday through Saturday, because that's what actually gets people into your church and connected with your church and involved with your church on Sunday, and actually keeps them involved through the week. If you can be more effective Monday through Saturday, then you'll be much more effective on Sunday as well. The topics today include the communications landscape and how it's changed dramatically in a lot of ways. The digital age that we're in and what that means. Some call it the millennial age. I call it the digital age. There are generational issues out there, and we're going to cover some of that. We will talk about millennials, but we'll also talk about other generations. We'll talk about some specific communication tactics you can use and a strategy for communicating better and being more effective with your communications. As you look around the world today, everything is changing. It's changing rapidly. It's changed, that's the new normal. Well, in a lot of ways, things have changed. They are changing, and they will continue to change. I'm going to suggest to you, though, that the change is not as dramatic as you think, and that a lot of the foundational things, the things that really matter most, have not changed and will never change. Having said that, we are in the digital age, and there are things now about communications that are dramatically different than the way they used to be. Today, I don't know anything about you, but Google knows a lot about you. Google knows that you're a football fan, or that you're a Carolina fan or a Sailor. Maybe you're confused and you're a Duke fan, who knows. But if you like cookies or chocolate or hush puppies or boats or anything, Google knows these things. Amazon knows these things. LinkedIn knows these things. And that information is extremely valuable. And that's part of what's changed in the communications landscape. If you think about it, ever since Google came along, and particularly after Amazon came along, we are unpaid volunteers for these organizations. We're providing them with information that they are using to better market to us. And the thing is, we're happy about it. We're glad to do it. If you think about it, though, if you're an Amazon fan, which I am, we actually pay to get that information to Amazon. But because we do share so much information with them, they know what we want, they know what we like, they know what we don't like, they know what we're going to buy next. They know what we ought to buy next based on our buying habits. And just like when you go to Amazon, they say, "Hey, Skip, welcome back. Hey, we saw you like this last time. Would you like this time?" That happens, but that is new. But is it really? Back in the day when you used to go to the neighborhood grocery store and the grocer knew your habits and knew what you liked, and he would suggest to you, "Hey, we've got some, fresh tomatoes in today. I know how you like fresh tomatoes." Or, "Hey, here's some, you like apple pie. Here's some fresh apples." Or you went in the men's clothing store, and the man that owned the place automatically knew what you needed because he knew your entire clothing inventory. So things have changed, but things have not changed. But what's interesting, though, is Amazon has figured out the value of knowing who we are and suggesting to us what we might need. Let's talk a little bit about technology and demographics. The technology has changed, and as it has created a lot of interesting things going on. Who wants to talk about millennials? I'll tell you who does. Millennials like to talk about millennials. Just check out Facebook. But before we get to millennials, let's talk about the folks who were born between 1946 and 1964. Raise your hand. I'm in that group, I admit it. The baby boomers. Now, I don't think I look like that group. This is, there you go. These are the baby boomers that I think are more representative. But, you know, my point, though, is both pictures represent baby boomers. And you'd have a hard time making a case that the young ones are just like the old ones, because there's a 20-year difference. And so while a lot of conversation is out there about millennials right now, you have to remember there is a 20-year span between the youngest and the oldest, and they are not the same. I'll tell you what is the same is the millennial age that we are in. But let's finish talking about baby boomers. Here's what was significant about the baby boom generation. There was a lot of them. You know, it was a gigantic mass of people going through life. And as we have gone through our life, here's what we've done. We put a hamburger restaurant on every corner. We put a mall in every city. We put a do-it-yourself hardware store, building supply store, just about, well, at least every city. Sometimes it seems like every corner. There's a Walmart in every town. And now, because we have reached that stage, there is a drugstore or two on every corner. That's the impact that the huge baby boom generation has had. So the millennials are going to have an impact as they go through their stages of life. And they'll go through the same stages, but obviously, if there's a hamburger chain on every corner, they're not going to do that already. They have different ideas and different priorities. Millennials, born between 1980 and 2000. But wait a minute, are we forgetting something? Who was born between 1965 and 1980? The forgotten generation, Generation X. Those folks should be very important to you right now because they are at the stage of life where they've got teenage kids or older. They are established in their jobs and careers. They are also tend to be more engaged and involved in their churches. And we can't forget about Generation X. Back to the millennials. They are the largest generation in the workforce right now. No question about it. They're bigger than, baby boomers are retiring day by day. Millennials are moving into the workforce. They are the best educated generation in history. They also have the largest amount of college debt in history, which is a problem. They are brand loyal, with a question mark. They're only loyal to the brands they like, and they really are not a big fan necessarily of the traditional big brands. They don't automatically buy the cars that their dads bought, or the dishwasher or the refrigerator that their moms bought. They have their own idea about what they want. They are wary of advertising. They don't respond to traditional advertising the way their predecessors have and do. They do like to hear from the brands that they like, which is an interesting idea. They're wary of advertising, but if they have locked into your brand or your church, then they like to hear from you. They want to hear from you. That's a key important point. Some other generalities, which I've already told you is a little dangerous, but they like to frequent businesses, in your case, churches, that they feel personally aligned with. That's a key thing. They also align themselves with brands that share the same kind of social responsibility priorities and issues that they care about. So if an organization cares about the environment, or cares about children, or cares about elderly people, they like to be tied in with that, and they like to support those ideas, which ties in, I think, very well with the mission of most churches. They do get dinged a lot because they seem to be very distracted. You've all seen this scene where there's 10 people at a table, all of them looking at their cell phones. But the fact of the millennial age is that it's not just millennials who are distracted. I have seen lots of people of all ages, from 10 to 80, sitting at a table looking at their cell phones and being distracted. It's really the millennial age, not the millennials. But there's good reason for distraction. As I was growing up, there were 3 TV stations, 1 newspaper. Today, 189 TV channels, and that's probably out of date already because this information is a month old. There's 500 million YouTube channels. Over 1,000 of them have over 1 million viewers and subscribers. Websites is over 1 billion and growing every day. There's radio now, not just AM and FM and XM. There's Pandora. And a lot of people use YouTube for their music. Haven't even touched on Facebook, Netflix, Hulu, Snapchat, Twitter. This is what a typical minute looks like in America. In a typical minute, 51,000 apps are downloaded at the Apple Store alone every single minute. Every minute, 4 million Facebook users like something on Facebook. That's a single minute. And it goes on and on. Amazon is over 4,300 purchases. Instagram, it's amazing. Every single minute of the day, there's a lot going on. And guess what? While we've added all these channels, we've added all these different forms of communication, nothing has gone away. From the dawn of man, the first form of marketing and advertising communication was, a caveman put a picture or some words on a rock. And guess what? That form of communication is still with us and always will be with us. So AM radio, still here. Newspapers, they're not going away. They're changing. They're not going away. Magazines, still here. Here's the good news about all this proliferation of communication. While the market is more fragmented than ever, it is also more targeted than ever. Now, you can target a man who's 25 to 35 who's into wrestling and gardening and herbal tea. We call that the Metro Macho demographic. You can say, I want to reach this particular type of person. I want to reach them in this geographic area at this time of day, and you can do it very effectively and, most importantly, affordably. So if you can identify who you want to be in your congregation, you can get your message out to them very efficiently through social media, Google, keyword advertising, Facebook advertising. It's nimble, it's flexible, it's fast, it's adaptable, and the good news for smaller marketers who don't have big budgets is it is very affordable and easy to use. So now you can talk to people. It doesn't matter if they're in their pajamas, they're sitting on the beach. It doesn't matter where they are, when they are, you can reach them. And you say, well, okay, but the thing is everybody wants everything right now. And yes, we do want everything right now. But we've always wanted everything right now. Think back, Polaroid cameras, microwaves, Jell-O instant pudding. We've always wanted it all right now. So I want to suggest to you that while things are changing rapidly and they will continue to change rapidly, and when you get right down to the fundamentals, as I said earlier, nothing has really changed. Because here's the most important part. We always have been and always will be dealing with people. Individuals who want to be treated like individuals, who want to be communicated with as people. You know this. You've always done this. Now you have to remember, even in this digital age, this mass communication age, you treat people like people and you'll be successful. Let me touch on media real quickly. We've touched on some of it. Right now there's lots and lots of choices, from Facebook to magazines, outdoor, all these options. There's two things that you need to know about marketing communications in this new world. Number one is you have to have a very robust, very up-to-date internet presence. It could be a website, but it doesn't have to be a website. That's a big deal now. It used to be that you had to have a website, but you don't necessarily have to have a website. But you do have to have a Facebook page if you don't have a website. Number two, the only medium that matters is the one that does reach your customer, your congregation, in the way that they want to be reached. So you have to figure that part out. There's no silver bullet. You got to figure that out. But once you do, that's the way you communicate to your people. There's a guy named Marshall McLuhan that used to say back when TV was first coming on that the medium is the message. Because if you were on TV, it said something about who you were. And it still does. But I submit to you that the most important thing is the message. The message is the message. And here's what I need for you to do, encourage you to do, in constructing your message to your audience, whether it's your current congregation or your future congregation or the new people that you want to attract to your church. You've got to answer the question, why? Why should I come to your church? Why should I be involved with your church? Why should I give money to your church? Why? That's what they're asking. Whether they say it out loud or not, that's what they're asking. That's what they want to know. And the answer for you is not the traditional answer that you always give or been taught to give. The answer is that you've got a solution to their problem. You may see these as problems when they say, I'm confused about organized religion, or I'm in a hurry, or I'm too busy, or I didn't grow up in a church, or I can't afford to tithe, or hey, I need a break. I work 6 days a week and I need to not get dressed and come in on Sunday because I just need a break, I need some time off. Can you relate to these problems? Well, the truth is these are not their problems. These are your problems. These are some of the hurdles that you have to overcome. So what we need to do is look a little deeper and see what their problems are. Do what Google does. Google has learned what we like, not because they asked us questions. They learned because we asked them questions. So look at the kind of questions you're getting from your congregation, from the individuals in your congregation. What kind of questions are they asking? Those indicate the kind of problems that they need help solving. Here's a great example of an ad for a church that is addressing their potential parishioners' problems. Whether you're hungry or hurt, lonely or lost, full of questions or looking for a home, there's a place for you here at our church. These are specific problems. These are people who have pain in their lives or need a church home. And they're not talking about it from a traditional message that churches often use. That's just one example. Let me give you a few other ideas on how to find the why that you can answer. There's a lady by the name of Faith Popcorn. Really, that's her name, Faith Popcorn. And she's a futurist. She analyzes trends in our society and predicts what people are going to want or need or where they are now and where they will be in the future. And she's identified a number of major trends that are going on in America that I think a lot of them relate to your congregation's needs. I've identified 4 or 5 here that I want to share with you. One that she calls clanning, and this is very simple. This goes back, well, to the dawn of time when you get right down to it. People want to be with people that they like, that they share ideas and values with. That's something that's just made for churches. It's a fact. Here's another one. Because there's so much confusion in the world, there's so much angst, there's so much concern, people are actually looking for an anchor in their lives. They're looking for spiritual values and needs. This is a major trend, and while I keep hearing that it's the exact opposite, that people are leaving the church and abandoning Christianity and that we live in a post-Christian world, I don't think that's true. I think people need what we offer them, what you offer them. We just have to communicate with them that we've got what they're looking for. Another major trend she's identified is she calls being alive. And this is where we want to be in better shape. We want to eat better. We want to exercise better. I think your church can play a major role in this. You could take some space in your facility, dedicate it to this concept, where you could have yoga classes, Pilates classes. You could bring in exercise equipment. I imagine if you put the word out amongst your congregation, you would have more exercise equipment in your facility that's currently not being used, that could be used in no time. And why not tell anybody and everybody they can come use that? It gives people a reason to come to your church during the week. It gives them a reason to get together in a wholesome atmosphere where they can actually exercise and share this idea of being alive. This is a trend that Faith Popcorn identified about a decade and a half ago, and a lot of companies capitalized on it. It's called cocooning, where people are just staying home, nesting and being close. They're ordering pizza in, they're watching Netflix in, they're not going out and doing things. And it's a combination of reasons, but this ties in with the idea of your church service doesn't have to be heard in person anymore. It can be streamed, it can be recorded, but those are things you already know about. What if you delivered your message that you deliver on Sunday, but you took it into small bites, and you delivered it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday through Facebook, through YouTube, through email? Because people are stuck in their cocoon and don't want to get out. Maybe you can reach them that way, and then you connect with them, and then you bring them into your church on Sunday. Here's another major trend that's going on. She calls it 99 lives. People are busy. You know this. We're multitasking like crazy, doing 6 things at once or 10, and maybe you can help with that. You know, Mom's Morning Out has become popular at a lot of churches. There's other ways that you can tie into this and solve this problem. Here's one that I really like. She calls it small indulgences. Because we are so busy, because we are so involved in so many different things, and because we are working so hard to be healthy, every now and then we just want to treat ourselves. So what if your church put a coffee shop in your lobby, if that would work? What if just one day a week or one evening a week you had a dessert social, or an opportunity for people to come in, share ideas, share a cup of coffee or a hot chocolate and a homemade donut, whatever. These are problems that people need solved. You could solve them. Don't let Starbucks get all the glory. But here's my message to you. Find your why. To do that, look to your constituency. Look to the people that you want to have in your church. Look to the people that you do have in your church. Look at their problems. Find the solutions that you offer and share them with them. You'll be amazed. Here's my second message to you. Do it different. While everybody else is zigging, you zag. There's an unwritten rule in every business. It's not just in the churches, but in every business, that everybody goes to market the same way. And it's especially true in churches, that we always communicate the same way. Do something different. Do what your competition is not doing. Communicate in a different way, in a different venue. If everybody else is using billboards, don't use billboards. Everybody is on, if nobody is on Sunday morning radio, maybe you should be. There's lots of ways to zag. And there's two books that these two messages came out of. One is called Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and the other is called Zag by Marty Neumeier. And both I highly recommend to you. They have nothing to do with churches except that their communication is very right on target, very important. My last message to you is that don't forget that the message is the message, the capital M message, God's message. Love, peace, kindness, self-respect, self-control. This is the message that Jesus brought to people. And by the way, he didn't say, hey, I've got a really cool message for you. Come see me on Sunday from 11 to noon. He went to the people where they were and he delivered the message. And he didn't preach fire and brimstone. He preached love. I want to encourage you to incorporate the message into your message. Solve your customers' problems. Solve your potential members' problems with the message from Jesus. Thank you for your time today. It's been great fun sharing with you, and I hope next time I can see you in person. If you'd like to reach out to me, here's my contact information. Feel free to contact me with questions or ideas. We actually are making ministry marketing part of our ministry at Carney and Company. And so we want to help as many churches as we can to get their message out, to find their why, communicate that to their constituency. So thank you again. God bless you.